Holy crap, guys. It happened. It happened. Oh, this is what we were waiting for. I might have to buy a MAGA hat right now. Where's my MAGA hat? Wow. Holy crap. Guys, this is amazing. He did it. He did it. Thank you, Trump. I mean, this is amazing. Fantastic. This is what we were hoping for. Oh, and guys, this is finally. This, I think Susanna mentioned this to me. The whole 4D chess underwater move by Trump finally happened. He said, "I'll get back to you in 2 weeks," and then wham, he hits. He hits. He has X's in the chat. Okay, guys. As you come in here, let me know that how my audio is. And guys, I this is such a good day. So this is such a good day. Sounds is okay. So music guy is saying sounds good. Thank you so much, music guy. uh Delta is saying, okay, let's not go MAGA now, but yes, this is amazing. I don't care today. I don't care today. I'm gonna go full MAGA. Let me Delta, don't today. I'm gonna go full MAGA. Okay, just let me have this moment right now. Yeah, Sarah is saying, I'm so happy with this. Oh my goodness, yes, exactly. Trump's big dick energy is above 9,000. Yeah, actually, do you guys want to listen to him talk about this? This is amazing. Oh, guys, the what did the how many B2 bombers did they use? I think, let me see. Let me look at the facts. On June 22nd, 2025, 2:30 a.m. Or basically 4 p.m. Pacific time, USA Air Force B2 stealth bombers dropped. It says dozens, but I think it was 6. I think this information is wrong. They dropped, I think, 6 GBU-57 bunker busters, and guys, they needed 2. I was told that they need only 2 GBU-57 bunker busters to be able to get rid of Fardo. By the way, they didn't only just target Fardo. They did Fardo, Natanz, and Esfahan. But on Fardo, they dropped 6 GBU-57 bunker busters. Guys, do you understand? These bombs are the greatest bombs, that short of a nuclear weapon, that exists. Like, the mother of all the mother of all bombs. These GBU-57s are bigger than them, and they just dropped 6 of them. I think 6. Yeah, 6 total bombs, like Neil is saying in the chat, on Fardo. I think there is no such thing as Fardo anymore. I think that Fardo has evaporated, like it's non-existent anymore. And guys, I know. I just hope these mofos get so angry right now, the Islamic Republic and the RGC, that they dare respond to an American base. They try. I want to see them try, because that would make the United States get involved in this even more. Oh yeah, bomber, the second bomber. Yeah, sorry, Mino. The second B in the bomber is silent. Thank you. But in Persian, we say bomb. Yeah, bomb Afghan. I mean, bomb, yes. Yeah. So that's my Persian accent speaking. So yes, thank you for that. But oh my God, this is such an amazing news. Let me see. So, the bunker buster bombs on Iran's heavily fortified Fardo facility. And also they had 2 MOPs hit Natanz, and also they had simultaneously U.S. Navy submarines launch 30 Tomahawk missiles targeting Natanz and Isfahan. Fardo uranium enrichment plant, Natanz nuclear facility, and Isfahan nuclear technology center. Yes. So what do you think? What do you guys think the Islamic Republic is going to do? They're going to be forced to do something more meaningful than what they did when Trump killed Qasem Soleimani. You know how when Trump killed Qasem Soleimani, they just basically told United States to empty the Ain al-Assad base in Iraq. And then once they removed all the soldiers, they just did some symbolic missiles at Ain al-Assad just to say that they responded to their base. But they didn't basically, the American soldiers didn't even have a nosebleed because of that. So This time they need to do something more meaningful, because their base, I've been following, I've been on social media ever since this happened. I'm the first place I go when anything like this happens, because this is the main threat to the Islamic Republic. Okay, I go to the fans and followers of Islamic Republic and see what they're saying, and they are pissed, and they're not buying their own government's propaganda. They want revenge, and they want it fast, and they want it big, and they might even, and Khamenei is proving to be. I'm so happy that Khamenei is not surrendering. He's not giving up, because this attitude will basically, because surrender would mean peace, and surrender would mean that this would that we wouldn't see the end of the Islamic Republic. I want them to fight. I want them to continue to fight. I want them to resist. I want all that Shia revolutionary zeal to do its thing right now, for these people to not surrender. And I want the Islamic Republic to try to somehow retaliate on US bases in some way, so that Trump then comes and ends them all. Wow, this is amazing. That's fantastic. So Trump has said that this is it. They're not going to do anything anymore. They just dropped a bomb, a couple of bombs, and they basically in one go ended Iran's nuclear program. Guys, be careful though. It's not over. Like when it comes to nuclear program, nuclear threat, it's not at all over, because the regime has moved a lot of the enriched uranium out of that place, and now that they're desperate, so when they bombed Fordo, for example, and Natanz and Isfahan, the enriching uranium that they had, it was not there. I mean, the centrifuges, is that how you say it in English? Centrifuge. The centrifuges were probably blown to pieces, but the enrichment uraniums are not in their sites anymore, and they have enough to make a dirty bomb, or like to make a basic nuclear bomb out of that right now, if they wanted to. I mean, the problem for them is that it's going to take a long time for them to make a nuclear warhead to be able to put it on a missile and use it. So they probably wouldn't be able to do that. But if they're very desperate, they just might want to just give it to terrorists, and just spread nuclear material in the region. So that's a threat. That's still there. That's a major threat that we still have to deal with. So the war is not at all over. Israel has still a lot of Israel has, I think, has taken at least 40% of the missile launchers by the Islamic Republic. So the remaining missile launchers are still a threat to Israel. So they need to be taken out. And again, even if you manage to completely neutralize the Islamic Republic threats to Israeli people, if you don't do a government collapse, if you don't do a regime change, this regime will just rebuild and become a threat to the Israeli people and everywhere else in the world once more. So we need, so even if United States is done, and I hope United States is not done, I hope the regime in Iran is stupid enough. I mean, they're not stupid, but they get pressured enough by their own followers, by their own fans, to retaliate in a somewhat meaningful way, so that Trump actually starts targeting more areas and starts helping, gives enough excuse for Trump to support Israel even more. That's what I'm hoping for. But even if Trump is done, Israel is definitely not done. Israel has a lot more to do. There are a lot more sites to take out. Let me see. I'll tell you what Israel needs to go. I hope Israel is going to go for next. So Roy is saying, we just felt our ears pop in the shelter when a missile dropped near us. Yeah, so see, that's why Israel, Roy, I hope you're safe. Roy in Israel, okay, that's kind of scary. But this is why the people are like, oh, so is it over? Not even close. Not even close. This might be just the beginning, to be honest. I mean, given Roy's experience, you can see why this is not over at all. Flying Robot Duck just used his 10-month membership, saying free Iran from the Islamic Republic. Yep, that's. It seems like we're in the process of doing that right now. By the way, guys, I will read super chats. Do you guys want to listen to Trump? Do you guys want to? I mean, I think most of you have heard Trump talk about this right now, but do you guys want to listen to him? let's just listen to him. It's short. Let's listen to him once before I go and respond to more of your comments.
A short time ago, the U.S.
Do you guys have his audio? Let's listen to him.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan.
USA, USA, USA. And by the way, as Fuzzy is pointing out here, I'm actually quite surprised how good Trump was at pronouncing Isfahan. I was kind of surprised because everywhere on Western media, I don't know, people are pronouncing Isfahan in the weirdest ways. But I was shocked to hear like Trump, among all people, everybody, almost everybody in Western, both in mainstream media and American YouTubers, they're all pronouncing Isfahan wrong. But all of a sudden, Trump comes and he pronounces Isfahan perfectly. Like, what the hell? Why is Trump, from all people, is pronouncing Isfahan perfectly? What the fuck? Like, I mean, let's listen to him again.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military.
True. There's nobody has B-2 bombers. Nobody has GBU-57s, so that's true.
That could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense.
You guys do realize if the Islamic Republic falls because of this in Iran, both Trump and Netanyahu will go down as the heroes. Heroes of the Iranian people. I mean, I would be upset if we don't have statues and monuments in their name in the most important squares in Iran after this.
Defense Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Love to see it. Love to see it. There's a lot of lies, by the way, being spread on social media. There's a lot of leftist YouTubers. I'm following them. They kept saying like, "Oh, the Iranian people are suffering." The Iranian people are celebrating. You idiots! I mean, it is hard to be under war. It's obviously difficult, but there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope that this is going to cause the regime to collapse. I mean, it would be all worth it if the hardship that the Iranian people are experiencing right now, it would be all worth it if it actually ends up resulting in the toppling of the regime. And also, there's a whole bunch of idiots, including in this chat, constantly saying, "Oh, World War III is coming. This is bringing World War III." Like, I don't know, this person, and then corrected like World War III, World War III. Like, what are you guys on about? What are you guys on about? Are you stupid? World War III? Who's going to come into the aid of the Islamic Republic? What are you talking about? The Islamic Republic has no military allies. There's not going to be. Do you think China is going to enter a war with Israel and United States to come support the Islamic Republic? Do you think Russia is going to? By the way, Russia just humiliated the Islamic Republic right now. So it's funny how I've been already telling people for years that obviously if Israel or United States go to war with the Islamic Republic, Russia is not going to come join and support the Islamic Republic. But it was even more beautiful than I anticipated, because Putin just came out and he said, obviously, they're on the side of Israel because there are a lot of Russian speaking Israelis, and Israel is just basically a mini Russia. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? So it wasn't just that he didn't support the Iranian regime, the regime in Iran over this. He basically came out and clearly took the side of Israel, which was such a fu to the regime in Iran. So that's such a stupid take that is now over, I hope. So World War III, do you guys understand? For World War III, there needs to be other countries involved for this to become turned into World War III. So there's that. So hell, thank you for guys, the admins in the chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you for getting rid of the spammers. But also another dumb take is that, oh no, they're gonna close the Hormuz Canal. They're gonna close the Hormuz Canal. This is going to be, the price of oil is going to go to $400 a barrel, and the whole the world economy is gonna collapse. I hope they try to close the Hormuz Canal. Who's going to let them? I hope they try. They will. It wouldn't just be. You wouldn't have United if the regime in Iran even dares to try to attempt to close the Hormuz Canal. It wouldn't be the United States anymore that would be full on supporting Israel. The whole world would be. China will be entering on United States side to come against the Islamic Republic. Even China will join the United States and Israel. Oh, let's see. Oh, hey, MythVision is here. MythVision podcast is saying, why do you think most online atheists are anti-Israel? Well, I mean, the Western atheists are so-called progressive, and this what I call the Wokistani Mujahideens. So not all of them, but a lot of them are their own cult. I mean, this is what Mohammad Reza Shah, our former king in Iran, called the red and black unholy alliance, the alliance between Islamists and leftists, right? So the reason why they're anti-Israeli is because They see the world as black and white, the oppressors. They see anybody with power as to be the oppressors, and they're on the side of the so-called Palestinian people because the Palestinian people are weak. So because the so-called Palestinian people are weak, and they think whoever is weak, they must be on the right side of history. That's there's a leftist mind virus that sees the world in such a simplistic black and white way. I mean, Myth Vision podcast. If you want to discuss this on your show, I could go into a lot more detail with you on it. That would be an interesting conversation. By the way, guys, my email is in the description if you guys want to contact me, and for any collaboration or anything like that. So yeah, so there basically the so-called progressives, they are anti-Western, they anti what they call imperialist West, but it's actually they're anti the world liberal order. They're basically anti everything that has made uh, our world such a much better place. All the standards and the values and the principles that we have now, that after World War II, that has made the war so much more peaceful and prosperous. They're against that, and they see they find they find allies in Islamists, because Islamists are also against this so-called Western imperialist order, which is basically what we call the world liberal order. That's what they call it. That's why this unholy alliance. My king Muhammad Reza Shah warned the whole world about this more than around 50 years ago, and the world didn't take him seriously. And now Western countries are dealing with that unholy alliance of leftism and Islamism. So this is a simple version of it. But if you want to go into more detail, I have an article on that. It's called by any means necessary. So you could actually go read that. It's on Queer Majority. If you search for, by any means necessary, Iran, Hamas, and the left by Armin Navabi, I explained this in a lot of detail in that article. Right. So you guys could go check my article on that. It's a really good article, by the way. I'm biased, I know, because I wrote it, but it's a very good article. The article whimsy with the super chat saying, "Why do people not get why this was necessary? Sleeper cells are a real concern, and lone wolves. Sleeper cells. I think the war, the threat from the Islamic Republic is not necessarily a sleeper cell situation. I think the threat from the Islamic Republic is different. I mean, if by sleeper, what do you mean by sleeper cells? Because the way that the Islamic Republic is spreading its influence in Western countries, and it's kind of different. So the main two ways that the Islamic Republic is a threat to the entire world is by spreading its toxic ideologies into your universities, into your media, on social media, and also supporting terrorist groups all around the world, and with the aim of eventually first destroying Israel and then taking over the Middle East, creating a Shia empire all over the Middle East, and then using the base of the Middle East to eventually come for the entirety of the world liberal order, and basically dismantling everything that makes the world a much more peaceful and prosperous place, right? So that's the way I would categorize it. It's a much more longer plan than I think sleeper cells, but yeah. But thank you for the super chat. Let me see. I mean, they might now get into sleeper cells and stuff like that now, but I think the threat was in a different. Different. Let me actually go look at some more information regarding what happened. So, Trump statements, public address from the White House called the strikes a spectacular military success. It was flawless. It was beautiful. I mean, they basically evaporated the entire Fordo site. And it says, and said Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Okay, yes. Issued a stern warning: if Iran doesn't accept peace, further deadly precision strikes will follow. I hope that they don't listen to you, Trump. I hope that they dare try to do more, so that you get involved more, so that Israel is not doing this alone, right? And the Truth Social post by Trump described the Fordo strike as very successful, stated all U.S. planes are out of Iranian airspace. That's fantastic. So military tactics. Okay, use of 6. This is the correct report. 6 bunker busters on Fordo and multiple on Natanz. plus tomahawks on Natanz and Isfahan. Yes, okay. The operation followed Israeli strikes and was likely coordinated with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Wait, we got another super chat. Let me respond to another super chat here. Wow, the anti-Israeli crowd here are very active also in the chat. The Oracle of Whimsy is saying, what I am saying is that the real concern is lone wolves rather than World War III. Okay, yeah, I see World War III is not a concern. You're right, but I don't think sleeper cells are also a concern. I think were a concern. I think the concern were nuclear. I think the concerns were maybe spreading nuclear material to terrorist groups around the region. I think the threat was basically U.S. interest all around the region, basically attack to trade routes that will basically make economic damages to American lives. These are there's a it's a what I yeah, but sleeper cells was a less of a concern. I mean, unless you mean sleeper cells in in other countries, I don't think because the Islamic Republic has been very incapable of doing any sorts of operations like that. They have tried and they were really bad at it. So that's not even my concern, right? But yeah, you're right that World War III is not the main concern. Somebody says that this Nathan idiot is saying, I hope the fighting stops. I do not. I hope the fighting continues. Why would you want the fighting? Like, I don't understand. Why would you want the fighting to stop? Can you explain this to me? We are seeing the fall of the greatest evil regime of our lifetime. You would be it would be dumb for you. It would be you're either stupid or you're evil if you want the fighting to stop when we're this close to the fall of the most evil regime of our time. Guys, I can't wait until the Iranian flags, the emoji flags for Iran in the chat has the lion and sun in the middle instead of the Allah in the middle. Let's see. We got another super chat. The Oracle of him saying, "You are costing me a lot of money. I am saying that the consequences of the strikes will be lone wolves, not World War III." Yeah, I get it. I understand it. I guess I understand it. Thank you for the super chats. I understand. I understand what you're saying. Okay. So yes, remove the guys. Okay. By the way, there are a lot of other. There are a lot of other um attacks happening as we speak, like some as we're speaking a lot of more military irgc officers are being removed, some scientists are being eliminated, like as we're speaking. Like this was just America entering the game, but as we're speaking Israel is doing a lot of other attacks, like constantly. Oh, we got another super sticker by Michael. Thank you so much, Michael. Really appreciate the support. That's a very generous super chat. Okay, guys, let's actually talk about what are the next steps for Israel, because that is very important, right? So we don't know if United States is going to be involved more, or that was the end of it. That's going to be depending on how the Islamic Republic responds. But what Israel does, so Israel needs first priority for Israel was to take out the air defense so that the airspace over Iran is free to use. By the way, the Americans, as much as we appreciate the Americans' involvement in this, it also needs to be said that it was so easy for Americans to just bring their B-2 bombers into Iranian airspace because Israel has paralyzed the entirety of the air defense of the regime in Iran. So this operation, as masterful as it was by the Americans, it was made so easily done because the Iranian airspace is just free to use by anybody right now, okay, with no worries of being taken down. So that was the first priority, to basically neutralize the air defense. The second priority by Israel is to basically bring in all their air force and neutralize the rocket launchers and also the entire command structure of the IRGC, so that the missiles coming to Israel get reduced. And by the way, Israel is in the chat. Can you confirm that the waves of the missiles attacking coming to Israel are becoming less and less every day. I mean, I'm assuming that right after the Fordo attack, you must have seen a heavy wave coming, because that is something that made them so angry that they thought it needed a responding to. But overall, I think that Israel is very successful at basically destroying the chain of command, and also taking out the launchers, so that they that the are you experiencing less missiles coming towards Israel? Like, Israelis in the chat, can you confirm that? I saw another super chat. I will respond to that. Let me know, guys, if Israelis are experiencing that. So I also noticed that even the remaining rocket launchers that they have, the regime forces, the regime soldiers, they are very, very afraid to use them, right? So they have, like, so I think around 40% of the rocket launchers have been neutralized by Israel, but the remaining ones, the people that have to operate them, they're terrified of using them, because they know that they might get bombed. So there are a lot of soldiers that are refusing to actually go to these rocket launchers and operate them, fearing that they're going to go boom boom by Israel. So there's that. That's a very beautiful thing to witness. But given that Israel's main responsibility is to protect its people, that is going to remain one of its priorities for a while. And obviously, another priority after that is to continue to remove the nuclear threat. So all of the main nuclear sites have already been attacked, but more nuclear scientists have to be removed, because it's not just about the enriched uranium, or the enrichment facilities. It's also about the knowledge. So Israel needs to basically find all the nuclear scientists that the regime in Iran has, and take down every single one of them. By the way, there's a lot of people here, so guys, make sure every single one of you likes the stream, so that more people end up seeing the stream. I need you guys to like the stream. So that's another focus. But then at some point, guys, here's what Israel cannot do. United States will not put boots in the ground. That will be politically, there's no political capital for any American boots on the ground in Iran. And Israel doesn't have enough soldiers or the capability to put soldiers on the ground. Maybe they could put some commandos to do some special operations on the ground, but to actually have enough boots on the ground, I mean, Israel doesn't have enough soldiers to do such a thing, and also is too far away from Israel to be able to do for Israel to do such a thing. So Israel doesn't have the forces, the boots on the ground power to be able to do the final push for a regime change. And Israel knows this. Israel knows its strength, and it also knows its limitations. Its strength is its intelligence, and also its air force. It's amazing that is the best. It's only second to United States when it comes to those things. But when it comes to actually causing a regime change, Israel could also only make it easier for the Iranian people, but the final push and the final choice could only be done by the Iranian people themselves. It cannot be done by Israel, because the only boots on the ground that we have are Iranian boots and the Iranian people. But the Iranian people are not armed. Okay, the Iranian people are not armed. Okay, so if you think about it, United States has the capability to have boots on the ground, but it doesn't have the political will to do so. Israel has the political will, but it doesn't have the boots on the ground. Iranian people have the will and the motivation to do the regime change, but they don't have the arms. Okay, so this needs to be a shared effort by all of them together to be able to get this done. So at some point, the Israel, I hope the Israeli military, the IDF, I mean, they already have started to focus on some Basij bases and some Niri Intizami bases. Basically, these are armed forces and anti-riot forces that are focused on suppressing the Iranian people and basically stopping protests from happening. Those bases need to be taken out so that the Iranian people get motivated for themselves to come into the streets and do this themselves. That's what needs to be done. However, at some point, Khamenei needs to be taken out. A lot of people are asking me why Khamenei hasn't been taken out already. Give me a second. Hold on, let me actually clean my nose because I'm catching a cold. Hold on. What do you guys think is the reason why uh, Israel hasn't taken out Khamenei already? Because I'm pretty sure they know where he is. I'm also almost sure that they can take him out whenever they want. Okay. The problem is that the regime is right now all the forces that they have, so I don't know how many missiles they have. I think they had 2,000 missiles. They were getting close. The regime was getting close to go from 2,000 missiles to 8,000 missiles, where they were basically, so that's that. Other than the nuclear threat, that's why Israel had to take action, because if the regime went from having 2,000 missiles to having 8,000 missiles, that would be devastating. So it was good that Israel took action for the regime not to get there. So they had 2,000 missiles, and I think they already used around 500 of them, and I think 25 of them has hit Israel. Right, so that's basically around the same 5% that we expected. So it's amazing how so many anti-Israelis are suggesting, like, oh, the Iranian regime has proved that the Israel's air defense is weak and not so not so as good as so many people have claimed to be. But actually, it is working exactly like everybody expected it to. 500 missiles, 25 of them making it in, is basically exactly the 5% that we have been always told, right? So that's I think that's it's doing its job. So if those numbers are correct, that means they have another 1,500 missiles left, and I don't know how much of those missiles are usable. How many of them the IDF has already blown to pieces? How many of the rocket launchers have been blown, so they're not even able to use those missiles? But they still have a whole bunch of missiles that they could use. They could still cause the Israelis a lot of. They're still a huge threat to Israel, given that they have all those missiles left, right? Um, so if you take out, and also think about the calculation from Khamenei's from the Islamic Republic side, they cannot just unleash all of these missiles upon Israel, because if they do it, then they have nothing left, and they will be defenseless, right? So, but if you take out Khamenei, then they would be forced to basically go out all crazy. They would just go out with their entire force against the Hormuz Canal, American bases, Arab countries around the Persian Gulf, throwing everything they have at Israel at the same. If they take out Khamenei, they just might go so crazy that they just throw everything at Israel. So that's why it's important for Israel not to kill Khamenei until they neutralize all of these threats. So what even before they go at the anti-demonstration, anti-rioting forces, I think maybe the next phase, which is I mean, they have already done a little bit of that, but I think right now they're also now focusing on the ground forces by the Islamic Republic and the Navy. Again, the ground forces and Navy of the regime is not an immediate threat to Israel, because they don't share a border, and the ground forces and the Navy of the regime cannot do anything at this moment to like, they're useless in this war because they're being bombed from the air. So what is the ground forces and the Navy is going to do? But they still need to be neutralized before you go to Khamenei, because they could cause a lot of damage to Arab countries around the Gulf, and also maybe be a threat to American bases as well. So they need to be taken out before you go to Khamenei. What about the Air Force of the Islamic Republic? The Air Force of the Islamic Republic is absolutely useless. Their planes are more than 50 years, like they're 50 years old, and they can't do anything right now. Anytime the Israeli planes, they see one of the planes of fighter jets of the regime in air, they just see them running away, and that's probably a good idea. You don't want to go head to head with any of Israeli planes. Like, there's no way for them to be able to do anything. So that would be the next phase. So I guess this is the order of things. Okay, so air defense taken out, nuclear sites taken out, then rocket launchers taken out, then maybe start focusing on the ground force and the Navy. So, and then focus on the bases in Iran that are focused on suppressing the Iranian people. And then once that's neutralized, so basically the Iranian people would have a lot less of a cost to pay if they come into the streets. Then taking out Khamenei at that point would be a great signal to the Iranian people that this is your moment now. And I hope the Iranian people respond at that point. Okay, this would be the plan. I think that will work, but we'll see how Israel would what Israel would do. We got two more super chats, so let me respond to those. By the way, guys, what do you think about the order of things that I just mentioned? And does that make sense to you guys? All right, so let's see. John is saying regarding the flag emoji change, both you and Syrians, Armin. Hasn't the Syrians emoji flag emoji hasn't that already been changed? I think the Syrians has already been changed. Yeah. But yes, I hope so. I hope so. Thank you for the super chat. And Yif Touch Shiloh is saying, we hope your family is safe and that you'll soon visit them in Fear Iran. Yeah, by the way, guys, I got news from my dad. Thank you so much for saying that. I did get, like, the internet keeps coming on and then it gets cut again. So it's on and off. But I did finally get some message from my dad, and he's safe and he's okay. So thank you guys for everybody was messaging me, because guys, my dad is in Tehran, and I was very concerned because I wasn't hearing from him for 2 days, but I finally heard from him and he's okay. By the way, I was telling people, if anything happens to my dad under Israeli bombardments, I would only blame the Islamic Republic and not Israel. Right? I promise you that. Yeah, people are saying good to hear. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys in the chat. This chief guy is saying, "Hello, traitor." Yeah, you're such an idiot. I'm not a traitor. The Iranian people, the enemy of the Iranian people is the Islamic Republic. To be pro-Iran is to be anti-Islamic Republic, and right now, IDF is attacking the enemy of the Iranian people. So that's not a traitorous act. That's actually being loyal to Iran. That's being a proper patriot, a proper nationalist. So you guys don't understand that. It's fine. You probably never will. Oh, we got another super chat by Clone saying, "Name one successful U.S. military campaign from the past 50 years." I think in Serbia with NATO, United States was very successful. Wasn't that? Didn't they just stop a genocide in Serbia? Like, when was that? That was easy. That was an easy. And I know why. I know why you say the last 50 years, because you don't want me to mention Japan and Germany, but I got you, huh? I destroyed your argument by just mentioning the stopping of the genocide in Serbia. Oh, Sohail is saying Korea. Yeah, Korea is a good example. Desert Storm was a successful one. Yeah. There you go. And also, guys, I know this is an unpopular thing to say, but I think. Oh, by the way, the first war against Saddam to free Kuwait, that was when was that? That was masterful. That was beautiful. Hey, clone unit, what do you think about that? I want to defend the second one as well. But under George Bush Senior, when the United States attacked Saddam and had the whole world united, wasn't that one of the most beautiful, masterful attacks in removing the Saddam? Yeah, the Saddam threat. That was fantastic. That was beautiful. That was so successful. And also, I know this is an unpopular thing to say, but I think the removal of Saddam was also a successful military campaign. But people are just so in a rush for results that they don't like think about it. Like, would you guys say that the French Revolution was unsuccessful? I mean, if you look at what happened after the French Revolution, for years after the French Revolution, we had so much bloodshed. And then we had a dictator came into power instead of having a true liberal republic. But nobody in their right mind now would consider the French Revolution to be a failure. You just needed to give it enough time. And I think when it comes to even the second war against Saddam and his removal, that was also a successful military campaign. The only reason why it made it awful, and it took 10 years for Iraq to all of a sudden get its act together, was not because of the military campaign was unsuccessful, was because the Americans did the dumb thing in basically dismantling the Ba'ath Party, and basically causing a lot of chaos after because of that. That was their mistake. The military campaign was very successful. And also, you can see that Iraq today, I mean, yes, it was 10 years of chaos, but Iraq today is right now so much better than Iraq under Saddam. So, and I'm happy that we have no Saddam right now. So, I consider that to also be a successful. Yeah, exactly. The politicians failed. The military was not a failure. The politicians failed after. The military did its job perfectly. The politicians made the wrong decision after the military success. Sketch Therapy saying, what president has done more for Iran? I told you. Well, he was dragged in. Okay, you know what, Sketch Therapy? Today, I'm not in a mood of saying anything anti-Trump. Okay, today I'm gonna say, okay, today I am full on pro-Trump. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with that. Okay, today I'm on your side. Okay, so how's that? we love Trump today. We're all MAGA today. You know what? You know, I was gonna kind of correct you a little bit, but not today. Not today. Trump, 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 Trump. Yes, exactly. Somebody, wait, hold on. This, where's it? Where's this? HTX says, like, I usually hate Trump, but today I love him. Yes, today I love him too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Wait, we got another super chat from Sketch Therapy. Where is it? Saying, good. So sick of you seeing Trump in the worst light. Hey, that's not fair. I've said positive and negative things about Trump. I have, even though even when I criticize him, I have been defending him on many things. I always like his. I always appreciate him taking out Qasem Soleimani. I always appreciate him pushing other free countries into spending more on their military. I also think that he's takes the China threat, the CCP threat, more seriously than most people, and that's the correct position. I disagree with him on his tariff positions. I kind of don't like that he still seems to be looking for a deal with the Islamic Republic. I'm not going to get into my disagreements with him today, okay? But even when I disagree with him, even when I criticize him, I defend some of his positions and I disagree with some of his. What do you want me to do? You want me to be black and white and just like everything that he does? I mean, even if I'm wrong, the proper way is to support somebody when you agree with him and also criticize them when you disagree with them. You don't want to be black and white about these things, right? I mean, I might be wrong about my analysis, but at least I don't want to be completely tribal, right? So, but yeah, I might be wrong. I mean, I'm here. I'm fair. I'm here to be criticized. You guys might be right. I might be wrong. That's why we on this channel we're having a discussion, right? But guys, let me actually see more details from the attack. This was so great. This was such a beautiful day. Guys, do you understand that the taking out of Fordo? Let me tell you the sad part of this. Within a matter of hours, we saw the decades of the Iranians people's wealth that was robbed from them by the Islamic Republic just go up in the air. The nuclear program by the Islamic Republic has cost them more than all the oil revenue that they have had since the beginning of the revolution. Do you understand how much wealth of the Iranian people that is? Do you understand how much wealth of the Iranian people have been robbed from them? Do you understand? And it all just went poof in a matter of hours. This was the wealth of the Iranian people spent on the imperialist Shia agenda of the Islamic Republic. That it was, if it was invested upon on the Iranian people themselves, do you understand? Sohail is saying no. Sohail, you're saying $500 billion, but hold on. Here, Sohail is saying $500 billion. Sohail, that's only all the direct costs. If you actually add up all the costs, because Murad Vaisi did the calculation, if you add all the direct and indirect costs, it's actually $2 trillion. It's $2 trillion. It's not $500 billion. It's $2 trillion. We got another super chat. Kurt is saying, "Are Iranians ready to eliminate the opposition? You mean the regime?" I hope so. I really hope so. I hope they rise up. Honestly, that this is one thing that I'm worried about, is that what if the Iranian people, at the moment that we need them the most, they don't rise up, and the Israeli side did everything that was that they were supposed to do, and now the Americans did what they were supposed to do. Yes, but then the Iranian people, at the time that we needed them the most, if they don't do what is needed, then I would be very disappointed. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. I'm going to come here and I'm going to be very disappointed. I'm not going to be trying to somehow hide my disappointment. We need the Iranian people. I mean, we don't need them right. We can't do. They can't do it right now, because I mean, right now, Israel is telling Iranian people to evacuate the cities. So we cannot tell the Iranian people to evacuate the cities and also be in the streets and protest at the same time. Those are contradictory requests, right? So right now, it's not a time for the Iranian people to come out now, but it will come any moment. Like we need the Israeli military to continue to do its thing, and then at some point, I hope they do a lot of focus on removing all the anti-riot tools and people, all the people who are responsible in Iran for suppressing the Iranian people. I hope that they are on the list of being eliminated next. That's what I hope. The main commanders that are, their job is to, I mean, some of them have already been taken out, which we love to see, but more of them need to be taken out. I think like a threat by the Israel would be very appreciated. Like if the Israeli government comes out and says that anybody responsible for attacking the Iranian people when they come into protest, the Israeli military will find you and they will come to you. That will scare the bejesus out of a lot of the anti-riot police. So that would be very helpful. And then the greatest of all morale boost for Iranian people to come into the streets would be the elimination of Khamenei. By the way, guys, Khamenei is right now hiding like a rat in a hole. And no offense to rats. And he is so scared that he's not talking to anybody. And the reason why this is so beautiful, the reason why this is so great, is because right now the regime in Iran is trying to surrender to Trump, but they can't. Do you know why they can't? So Trump is desperately trying to still get a deal. Again, don't get me started. It's fine. It's fine. Love you, Trump. Love you, Trump. Okay. And Turkey, Erdogan is trying to facilitate it. They said they got Arakci and Pezeshkian. They're trying to get Turkey. Erdogan was trying to arrange a meeting between Arakci, which is the foreign minister of the regime in Iran, with the American officials in Istanbul. It's not a deal, guys. It's not a deal anymore. It will be a surrender, because what is there to deal about? The whole point of the nuclear talks was to talk about the terms of the regime's nuclear program. There is no more nuclear program. The nuclear program is gone. So there is nothing to negotiate over anymore, because it all just went boom boom. The only thing to sign would not be a nuclear deal right now. The only thing to sign at the moment would be the terms of surrender, a full surrender. Full surrender meaning the complete submission of the Islamic Republic to United States, the complete abandonment of the supporting of the proxies, the terrorist groups, and the complete dismantlement of the missile program, and maybe even the changing of the supreme leadership, all of the complete submission. Basically, the retiring Khamenei. That's what I think Trump is looking for now in a so-called deal, which is not a deal anymore. It would be a surrender term, right? So Erdogan is really trying to stop the war. So he was trying to facilitate the talks happening in Istanbul, and Arakci was supposed to meet with the American Witkoff, I think, or other American officials in Istanbul, but it was canceled. Do you guys know why it was canceled? Because they couldn't get a green light from Khamenei. Do you know why they couldn't get a green light from Khamenei? Because they can't get a hold of him. Khamenei cannot speak to anybody. Like he's missing in action. By the way, he's not dead. Like some people are like maybe they took him out. No, I think if they had taken him out, they would have announced it. Like there was no reason for Israel, for example, if Israel has just bombed Khamenei and he's dead, there's absolutely no reason for them not to announce it. So that's why I think he's still alive. But he's not communicating with anybody because I think they believe that if they do communicate with somebody, their location will be they'll figure out where he is. That's why he's completely MIA. That's why he's completely radio silent. And because any form of negotiation or talks always has to go. And this proves that Khamenei was always in control of all of the talks, given that the talks were canceled, given that Arakci, the foreign minister of the regime, could not get a green light from Khamenei because they cannot get in touch with him, which is amazing because Trump was trying to talk to them. Trump's team is trying to talk to them, but because Israel is like hunting them down and they're hiding in their holes, there is no way for the negotiators to. Oh, but guys, there seems to be an attempted coup going on at the same time. Hold on, let me see. Let me star these. Some of your comments to me responding. So there's also a I think a failed attempt at the coup, not a military coup, because if it's a military coup happening, that would probably be successful. But this is more of a religious coup that is happening, right? Yeah, seriously. So there are some ulama, religious scholars in Qom, who are trying to convince, I think, Rouhani and Zarif to basically come and talk to the religious authorities. So this is not from the military yet. This is from just the religious community. They basically are arguing that for the sake of having a Shia regime, like if we don't surrender at this moment, so because any form of surrender has to come from Khamenei, and Khamenei is missing in action, and nobody knows where he is, and we can't even hear from him. So some religious authority in Iran are saying that forget Khamenei, we should basically come and get maybe Rouhani, for example, to become the new representative of, I don't know, the supreme leader or whatever of Iran, of the Islamic Republic or whatever. And because if we don't surrender right now, this would be the end of the only Shia regime in the world. And that's to preserving a Shia regime or Shia government in the world is Ojab Wajibat. They call it the Ojab Wajibat, which means the highest of all priorities. Nothing is more important, according to the Velayat Faqih version of the Ethno-Ashari Shia Islam, which means the guardianship of the jurist of the 12er Shia Islam, which basically is a short version of referring to that as Khomeinism. In this sect of Shia Islam, there's absolutely nothing more important than maintaining a Shia government in the world. There needs to be a Shia government in the world. It's more important than all the principles of Islam in their mind. And now they're seeing it collapse. So they're saying that forget Khamenei, we need to surrender. So let's get the so-called reformists to take the control and basically talk to Trump their terms of surrender to be able to maintain the Islamic Republic. That has been the attempt, and the IRGC media Tansim just came out and exposed that, and they warned about it, and they promised retaliation or something like that. So we don't know, guys. By the way, if the Islamic Republic survives, this is going to be a bloodbath within Iran by the Islamic Republic. A lot of people are going to come and take revenge against other people. It's going to be crazy. So I hope they don't survive, because they are mad, and they are going to be making a lot of people pay a high price for the fact that they dare try to take out the Islamic Republic. Sketch Therapy just gave us a $1 super chat for with no messages. Thank you, Sketch Therapy. I really appreciate you being here. I know we disagree sometimes, but I like you challenging me. It's really and supporting me at the same time, which is it's really, I'm really grateful for having you here in the chat. And also Grumpy Cat Granny, love that username, saying Shia Mahdi must be crying right now. Well, I mean, here's how you cope. Here, let me, like, if you're a Velayat Faqih version of Ethno Ashari Shia Islam, I will give you the cope mechanism right now. This is what we need for the Mahdi to come back. Okay, like this looks like the end of times. I mean, this is how they're coping. I'm not just making this up. Okay, they're like, hey, shit has to hit the fan for the Mahdi to come back. So shit is hitting the fan. So yippee doo, this is a great time. We're happy that we're being graped up the ass, because that's what we need for the Mahdi to come. So grape us even harder, Daddy Trump, because that's what we need for the Mahdi to come. So this is how you claim victory in the face of defeat. Okay, this is the Shia way. This is the victory of the anus over the sword, as we call it in Shia Islam. Okay. Right. So oh my God, this is such a glorious day. By the way, guys, I'm seeing some Iranians in the chat are saying that it seems like we have more, like the internet connection is coming back a little bit more in Iran. So I might have to do sketch therapy. You don't understand what I'm saying? Okay, guys, anybody who doesn't understand what I mean by the victory of the anus over the sword, you need to subscribe to this channel, because we explain this ideology to you guys. You guys will become more familiar with Shia ideology and their attempt to always pretend that they're winning even when they're obviously losing. We will explain how that works in Shia Islam. So say subscribe to this channel, and also like the stream, guys. It really is really important that you like the stream so that this channel grows. Okay, and also if you want to support this channel, consider becoming a member. That's the best way to support this channel. We got another super chat here. So yeah, given that the internet seems to be coming back in Iran more, I mean, it already came back yesterday, but it was only like for some people, but it seems like it's working now for more people. So I need to go on our Persian channel and do a stream there really quick right now, because this is a happy day for Iranian people, and I need to be with I need to go to my people and share this happy moment with them. Right? Why am I even here? I need to be among my I need to be among my people and celebrating. I mean, no, I'm kidding. I love you guys. The reason why I didn't go there is because the internet is like effed right now in Iran. But as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go to the Persian channel and celebrate over there as well. Yes. Guys, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I love Trump today. Thank you. Today is such a good day. Kurt is saying, if Iran becomes a secular nation again, how targeted will it become from Islamic countries? Will it become less safe? Targeted from which Islamic countries? The main threat to Iran is on its eastern borders, like, so mostly from Afghanistan and Pakistan, right? That's the main threat. And if we get a secular democratic nation, one of the main focuses that we need to have in the Iran in the future in that Iran is to strengthen our eastern border, because that's where the most of the threat is going to come from to our nation. Again, the Islamic Republic mostly focuses on its western borders, because the western border of Iran are where it's shows its aggression to Israel. So the reason why the Islamic Republic focuses on the west is because it was always trying to build a bridge from Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon all the way to the borders of Israel to become a threat to Israel. But if they actually cared about the nation, they would be mostly focusing on the eastern borders with Afghanistan and Pakistan, because that's where the challenge is to our border security. But these people never cared about Iran. They only cared about exporting their revolution to the entire Middle East, and Israel was always in the way. So they always wanted to target Israel first. Okay, so Grumpy Cat Granny, okay, love the username, is saying Iran didn't say that. Okay, whatever you're saying, it was the regime that said that. Okay, you say Iran said that the nuclear material had been removed. Think it was a lie. Okay, so let me just, I know I'm being nitpicky, but it's important to me that I clarify. That was not Iran that said that. That was the Islamic Republic that said that. The Islamic Republic is not Iran. The regime in Iran is not Iran. That is not Iran. They do not speak on behalf of Iran or the Iranian people or the Iranian nation. Okay, so it was the regime that said that, not Iran. So the Islamic Republic said that they removed the nuclear material. I do believe that they removed the. It would be. I do believe. No, I don't think that's a lie. It would be. It would be idiotic of them if they just kept, when they enrich uranium in Fordo. It would be so idiotic of them if they just kept it there. They probably have removed it, and the enriched uranium is or probably somewhere else, unless these people are. They must have. If they haven't removed it from that site, they're really really dumb. So that's why this is not over. That's why even if you manage to take out the enrichment uranium facilities, they already have a lot of enriched uranium that they could make nuclear bombs with. So that's why Israel needs to continue. That's why the only solution to this is the toppling of the regime. I mean, it's great that the nuclear facilities have been taken out. By the way, I'm not talking about the Boucher facility, because the Boucher facility is a reactor. It's not like a centrifuge. The reactors are for turning enriched uranium into energy. It's not about enriching uranium. So it doesn't make any sense for Israel to even target the Boucher facility. And it's actually dangerous to target the Boucher facility because of all the nuclear pollution it causes. The current nuclear sites that they're hitting, which is where they enrich uranium happening, the nuclear pollution threat is very, very low. It's only going to be local. They're deep underground, and because it's not a reactor, it's not going to spread. The nuclear radioactive material is not going to spread at all, right? Not much at all. So the nuclear scientists have said, like when it comes to Esfahan, Natanz, and Fordo, taking them out is not going to cause nuclear pollution that much. It's going to just be very deep underground, and it's not going to spread. So that's not a worry at all. But when it comes to the Boucher nuclear facility, which they have a reactor there, it doesn't make sense to take that out because it doesn't. They don't enrich uranium in there, and it's also very dangerous if they do take it out because it will just spread nuclear material everywhere, including to the Persian Gulf, which we don't want to see, right? But yeah, again, the enriched uranium that they have taken out, that is very dangerous, and the only way to make sure that you get rid of that is by actually toppling the regime. That's why Israel needs to stay at it until the regime has fallen, and it needs to happen fast, because if they're desperate, because they cannot turn they don't have enough time right now to turn the enriched uranium into a nuclear weapon. They don't have time. So if they're desperate, they just might want to give it to the terrorists in the region. Imagine if all of these enriched uranium and these other, they just get into the hands of Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, or Kataeb, or Shabi or Fatimiyun, or if they even give it to some Islamists that they're not even aligned with. Imagine if they just hand it over to ISIS, Al Qaeda, or all the terrorist groups, or Taliban and Pakistani Taliban. Imagine if they do that. So this is urgent. Before they manage to spread all of this nuclear material in the region, this regime needs to fall so that this doesn't happen. This is an urgent thing that we need to take care of. That's why they must. Yeah, exactly. Kurt is saying, you didn't read my last super chat. We are your people. Hold on. Did I miss it? Sorry. I didn't. Oh, are Iranians ready to eliminate the opposition? I don't see that super chat. I'm sorry. It's not here. I'm looking at it. It's not here. For some reason, it didn't show. Okay. Yes, you. Yes, you are my people. I agree with that. That was. I was just joking. I was just. You guys are my people as well, for sure, for sure. I love you guys. Our community is our people. So that was just a joke. Yeah, but I completely agree with that, Kurt. And thank you for being here. Yes. And thank you for all the support. By the way, I don't see the super chat. Sorry for missing it. Yeah. I hope that was obviously a joke, right? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, because you are my people. Kurt is saying, would you take names of people to help topple the regime? There needs to be a central point of signing up for an uprising outside of Iran. Would you take names of people to help topple the regime? Okay, so there's already an institution that has all the main experts with the leadership of Reza Pahlavi. Basically with his uh, centered around him, right? It's called Nufti, Nufdi. Let me see what that stands for. Nufti. It's called the National Union for Democracy in Iran. So we already have a team in place with the leadership of Reza Pahlavi, called Nufti, and they already have a plan for exactly what to do, who goes for the transition period, on who does what, where do they go, and what do they do. They have a very detailed plan approved by experts. So the people that are the experts that are supposed to do what they're supposed to do, we already have their list. They already have been confirmed, and everything is set to go. So this is why we could be less worried about a power vacuum, because the Iranian people are ready, right? With the leadership of Reza Pahlavi, they're ready for this. They're ready for this. All the rest of the world has to do for the power vacuum not to happen is to recognize and support Prince Reza Pahlavi. That's what we need right now. And then we got Graham here. Okay, you're saying awesome. Yeah, Kurt is saying awesome. I appreciate you appreciating that. Graham is saying, for though ruins become tourist attraction in the future. I don't know if there's going to be much to see other than just a big hole, but sure, why not? I'll talk to some. I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. I'll talk to my people. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, we got another super chat saying Kurt saying thank you and thank you Israel. Yes. Thank you, Israel. And thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Kurt. Oh, regarding the tourist attraction, the problem with that idea is that Iran has so many tourist attractions that we don't need to add anything to it, guys. Iran has an ancient history filled with ancient attractions and a beautiful nature. It just has so much to offer to tourists that we don't need to add to our list. But so hopefully, you know what I hope for? This is what I mentioned on the previous stream. What I'm hoping for is to see Israeli tourists in Esfahan and Shiraz. That's when we know we have won. When we see a lot of Israeli tourists come to Esfahan and Shiraz and other places. And by the way, there's a lot of Jewish history in Iran. There's a lot of Jewish, like a lot of Jews can trace their history into different places in Iran. So there's a lot for them to come and see. So that's when we know this is all over and we have won. When we see planes from Tel Aviv to Tehran were filled with tourists, that's when we know this has all ended and we have won. And Kenny, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much for this. That's guys, you guys have been very generous in this chat. Anyways, guys, I need to go because the internet is back in Iran, it seems. I need to go on our Persian channel and do a live there and hang out and celebrate with the Iranians there. So I'm going to say bye to you guys. Please don't forget to like the stream. There's been a lot of people here today. So if you like it, it's going to get introduced to more people, right? So don't forget to do that. And yeah, and okay, so I just got a message, somebody saying, why are you using this format? Because YouTube is suggesting it to more people when I use this format. It shows up on your shorts feed, and that's why we're growing faster when I use this format. So sorry if you guys don't like it, please tolerate it. Please tolerate this format because it's growing the channel. It's helping the channel grow. Please just tolerate it, okay? Anyway, guys, I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next stream. Bye. I'm Israel Kai.